All right, instance of command. This at first seems like a pretty stereotypical Alien of the Week episode. You have the crew of the Enterprise. They have been contacted by the Shellyak, who are making diplomatic demands instead of threatening military force. Well, immediately. They're planning to threaten military force if their diplomatic demands aren't met. But, interestingly, with the Shellyak are a non-humanoid race, one of a very small number seen in Star Trek because it's just more time-consuming and budget-intensive to create non-humanoid characters. Unless you go with Muppets. But Star Trek doesn't like things that are as unrealistic looking as Muppets. Now, what exactly a classification R3 life form is? Good luck with that one. I don't know either. No, seriously, this is actually something I looked up rather heavily in the past. And my internet's bugged out. Great. Anyways, so all we really know about the Shellyak and what makes a classification R3 life forms different is that the planet in Instance of Command is known as Tau Cygni 5. Tau Cygni 5 is bathed in what is referred to as hyperonic radiation, which in this particular case is like, oh, why did that destroy the test cylinder? Must have been a lot of it. And here's one where Julian Bashir kills a virus with it. Okay, the part about this is interesting is that one, it doesn't bother the Shellyak. Two, the humans who are living on the planet Tau Cygni 5 found some way to make themselves functionally immune to it. How exactly that works is unclear. But they did. Because like I said, it's like exactly how they adapted was not stated. Although at one point, Dr. Crusher speculates that they may have used some sort of viral therapy, which, if you're familiar with Barclay's protomorphosis syndrome, yeah, that's one potential result of viral therapy. Anyways, though, so hyperonic radiation being dangerous enough to cause issues for people living there, yeah, makes this an interesting one because the fact that the reason for the Shellyak corporate to be complaining about the presence of a Federation colony on Tau Cygni 5 is that one, the United Federation of Planets, until this moment, had been under the impression that Tau Cygni 5 was uninhabited and that no one was living there. Therefore, when the Shellyak corporate requested that to be ceded as Shellyak territory in a treaty, the Federation was fine with that. And then later they find out that this Federation colony ship, known as the SS Artemis, had in fact landed there and was unable to return to Federation space or whatever due to being too badly damaged. So they decided to just build a colony there. Oh, and make themselves immune to hyperonic radiation. Yeah. TOS and TNG would on occasion have humans, people who were explicitly humans, descended from people from Earth with superpowers. Obviously, there's the augments, but there's several others. And in this case, they're people who were literally genetically engineered to have immunity to hyperonic radiation. Interesting. But also, another thing about this that's weird is that the SS Artemis had its computer go haywire and have it end up in the wrong solar system completely, and whatever damaged the ship left it unable to return to where it was supposed to be. Very odd, very plot convenient, but weird stuff happens. As one person once put it, we're not here to understand why things happened. Our primary concern is actually to simply document what happened. And to be honest, doing that from an in-universe perspective, it's like, okay, this is a mystery we don't understand. Maybe we'll figure it out. Maybe we won't. That is actually a valid approach when writing a module for a TTRPG. And the interesting thing about this, though, is that the timing on this indicates that this was TOS era. Because, yeah, it says launched from Mars in 2274. That's after Kirk took command of the Enterprise. Which is one of the things we're like, huh. But in TOS era, it was relatively common for things that were ostensibly Federation territory to go years without actually making contact with any other part of Federation territory. This doesn't logically make sense by real-world standards, but it was how the Federation was operating in that time period. And early TNG used a similar logic to it, despite the fact that in real-world standards it doesn't make sense. Which is why in the neutral zone, they're like, oh, certain colonies are gone and we don't know why. Those colonies were not able to send distress signals back to the Federation with a live stream showing what had happened to them. Real world, modern day, you could do that. I mean, yeah, okay, if it was like less than a minute, people might not have time to do it. But you give people 20, 30 minutes, someone is going to whip out a cell phone, make a quick video, upload it to YouTube or something, and then now people back on Earth know what happened. That's the way it would work in the real world. But in universe, Federation technology, their hyperspace or subspace-based communications in TOS era weren't that good. It would, on multiple occasions, be said that it would take multiple days to get into contact via subspace radio with the nearest outpost. The exact specifics of why, that's not the important part. Anyway, so enough about that. So this planet was far enough out of normal Federation space that they didn't actually have a reason to want it. And that's, again, part of the reason why they ceded the territory to the Sheliak via treaty. And in fact, the colony actually gets hauled off. Yeah, the victory that Picard gets negotiating with the Sheliak is to convince the Sheliak to extend the deadline for when the colony needs to be gone. Because the Sheliak are planning on just like shooting everyone to death if they don't leave. Because by the terms of the treaty, the Sheliak are allowed to do that. Yeah, the Sheliak don't really come across as nice guys. They come across as the sort of people that the Federation negotiated with because negotiating was better than fighting a war with them. Like, okay, well, we can negotiate, even though we don't really want to. But, we don't need to fight them. Anyway, so it's one of those alien races, while they're in many ways hostile, they are in fact reasonable. Which, again, it kind of fits into the lawful evil schematic where you can talk to them, you can negotiate with them, but what they want may not be something that you are willing to give them. And in this case, what the Shellyak wanted was the immediate removal of the colony, and by immediate they meant by the next day, kind of, sort of thing. I don't remember the exact amount of time, but Picard managed to talk them into giving them a matter of weeks, which a matter of weeks isn't actually all that long to evacuate a colony with somewhere around 15,000 people on it, but they did. Or at least that was what their plan was. Where they're taking all of those people, yeah, we don't know. Also, will they go to some other place that has hyperonic radiation? Because, it seems kind of noteworthy having a group of thousands of Federation citizens who are somehow immune to hyperonic radiation. Because the hyperonic radiation is part of the reason why the Federation gave this planet to the Shellyak in the first place. At any rate, though, Shellyak writing looks weird, and for some reason this page refused to load. Blah. Anyway, don't need to look at that. As a TTRPG, it's very, very doable because, here's your problem. Now go find a solution. And this has several different layers of problems. It's like you have to avoid getting poisoned by hyperonic radiation. You need to talk to the Shellyak to convince the Shellyak not to shoot you, and so on and so forth. And of course, there's the fact that you actually do have a good reason to comply with the Shellyak's demands. It's just that you need to, talk to them about how you're going to comply with the demands. At any rate, I think that's enough about this one.